Houston, we have go for main engine start. Begin final countdown. Roger that. Beginning countdown. T-minus 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And liftoff.
Ditching Suburbia is on a mission to help families leave traditional suburban lives in search of simpler living, closer family, richer education, and uncommon adventures. Find us on the web at ditchingsuburbia.com.
Hey folks, it's Michael Boink from Ditching Suburbia. On this episode of the Ditching Suburbia podcast, I'll be reading an essay entitled Our Faith Journey 3, Tearing Apart and Rebuilding Church. This is the third in a series of articles describing how our church life changed after hitting the road full time. These are the books that first tore apart and then rebuilt our understanding of church. If you haven't listened to Faith Journey 1, which talks about our back journey, and then our Faith Journey 2, which describes our experience attending church on the road, I would recommend listening to those before this episode. We couldn't reconcile full-time travel and church. The disconnect between the two caused me to start asking questions. Lots of questions. Questions that cut right to the roots of our faith life. What was church? What were we missing that we thought church would provide? Why could I not find much in the Bible that looked like modern-day church? I'm a researcher by nature. When I have questions, I start looking for books. So here are 3 books that were crucial in redefining what church meant to us. The first is entitled, So You Don't Want to Go to Church Anymore. This is written by Wayne Jacobson and Dave Coleman. This book is a fictionalized account of a troubled pastor who gets help from a mysterious John the Baptist character. The storyline's not strong, and the characters aren't deep, and the conversations aren't always believable. Yet there were a number of moments where I was nodding my head in agreement and appreciating how the book put words to my feelings and experiences within the institutional church. You can purchase the book on Amazon or read it for free online, and those links will be in the show notes. Pagan Christianity. If it's ever occurred to you that you can't find a description of a modern-day church experience described in the Bible, Pagan Christianity may be a book you'll want to read. Quoting from Amazon, this groundbreaking book makes an unsettling proposal. Most of what Christians do in present-day churches is rooted not in the New Testament, but in pagan culture and rituals developed long after the death of the apostles. Now, earlier I said may want to read because Pagan Christianity is a book that you cannot unread. Written by Frank Viola and George Barna, Pagan Christianity largely deconstructed what I knew of as church. It left me convinced that the church we grew up in, married in, and had our kids in wasn't something that we needed to keep looking for. But what did we need? If the roots of the current church are largely pagan, what should church be? Frank Viola subsequently published Reimagining Church to answer that question. However, it largely put forth the idea of house churches as the solution. House churches are still location dependent, so the idea was a non-starter for we nomadic folks. So the third book is Finding Church. Written by Wayne Jacobson, Finding Church rebuilt our understanding of what it means to be the church. The book taught us that our church is the people that God puts in our path. It doesn't happen on a schedule that we set. We can't organize it. We don't have to organize it. Quoting, His church is a living temple, springing up in the individual heart and then knit into a worldwide community of people whose very relationships put God's glory on display. There's no way human effort can build it or sustain it, which is why our attempts fall so woefully short. She is the fruit of a new creation of men and women who live beyond human conventions of society and share a life in Jesus that satisfies their most ardent hunger. We met the author while in Florida last year and were blessed by his humility and approachability. We've also learned a lot from Wayne's podcast and blog at thegodjourney.com. Okay, so really, how do you do church now? In short, we don't. We don't do. We are. What's that look like? I'll have some examples in the next installment, Our Faith Journey 4.
You've been listening to the Ditching Suburbia podcast. Ditching Suburbia helps common families create uncommon lives. Learn more at ditchingsuburbia.com.